Everyone says AI is just for chatbots and automation. But right now, military forces around the world are deploying autonomous weapons systems in active conflicts. And nobody's really talking about it. Hey everyone, I'm Mohammed, founder of Digital Dev. Today we're diving deep into one of the most controversial and frankly terrifying applications of AI technology, military warfare. Over the next 9 minutes, you're going to learn exactly how AI is being weaponized right now, which countries are leading this arms race, the ethical red lines we're crossing, and most importantly, what this means for global security and your future. Let's get into it. So here's the thing that most people don't realize. AI warfare isn't some distant sci-fi scenario. It's happening right now, in real conflicts, on real battlefields. According to a 2024 report from the Center for Strategic and International Studies, over 130 countries are currently investing in military AI research and development. That's not a prediction, that's today. We're talking about governments actively building and testing autonomous weapons systems. The scale of investment is staggering. The U.S. Department of Defense alone has allocated $1.7 billion specifically for AI research in military applications for fiscal year 2024. But here's where it gets wild. China is matching that investment, and some reports suggest they might actually be ahead in certain areas like drone swarming technology. What does military AI actually look like on the ground? We're seeing autonomous drones that can identify and engage targets with minimal human intervention. We're seeing AI systems that can predict enemy movements, optimize supply chains during wartime, and even make targeting decisions faster than any human could process. At Digital Dev, we work with businesses on AI automation that increases efficiency by 40 to 60%. But in military contexts, we're talking about automation that literally changes the outcome of conflicts. The speed advantage is everything. Let me give you some concrete examples so this doesn't feel abstract. During the Ukraine-Russia conflict, both sides have deployed AI-enabled targeting systems. Ukraine has used AI to analyze satellite imagery and identify Russian positions in real time. This isn't theoretical. Soldiers on the ground are using these systems right now to make life-or-death decisions. Israel has been using AI systems like the Lavender targeting system, which has been documented by journalists to autonomously identify military targets with minimal human review. According to the Washington Post investigation, this system was used in thousands of strikes with a very high error rate, something that would be unacceptable in any other context. China has invested heavily in autonomous swarm technology. We've seen videos of hundreds of drones coordinating together without a central command system, each drone making independent decisions. This is terrifying because swarm attacks are almost impossible to defend against with traditional systems. The reality is that we've already crossed the Rubicon. These systems aren't being tested in labs anymore. They're active in conflicts right now. Here's where things get philosophically messy and also extremely dangerous. There's a critical distinction between AI-assisted decision-making and autonomous decision-making. AI-assisted means a human is always in the loop. A human reviews the AI's recommendation and pulls the trigger. Autonomous means the AI decides and executes without human approval. We haven't established clear international red lines about this. The UN has been discussing a lethal autonomous weapons system, laws, banned for years, but there's no global consensus. 35 countries have called for a preemptive ban on fully autonomous weapons. But others, including major powers like the US, Russia, and China, have actively opposed binding international restrictions. Why? Because whoever controls autonomous weapons first has a massive strategic advantage. It's a prisoner's dilemma scenario. No country wants to unilaterally disarm while others are building autonomous weapons. So we're in a race to the bottom, ethically speaking. The technical problem is this. AI systems make mistakes. They have bias. They can be spoofed. According to research from MIT, adversarial AI attacks can fool image recognition systems 99% of the time with subtle modifications that humans wouldn't even notice. Now imagine that's being used in a targeting system. This is basically creating a new kind of Cold War, but faster and more dangerous. Historically, arms races took decades. The nuclear arms race between the US and Soviet Union was a slow burn. You could see it coming. You could negotiate. AI is different because it develops at an exponential pace. The gap between leading and lagging countries can shift in months, not years. According to a Stanford University AI Index report from 2024, China is now publishing more AI research papers than the US in certain military-relevant fields. The US is still ahead in overall AI capability, but the trajectory is concerning for Western powers. There's also the problem of proliferation. Once autonomous weapon technology exists, it becomes cheaper and easier to copy. What starts with superpowers quickly spreads to smaller nations, non-state actors, and potentially terrorists. We're looking at a scenario where in 10 years, almost any nation could have cutting-edge autonomous weapons. This fundamentally changes the balance of power. A small country with limited resources could theoretically deploy an AI swarm that overwhelms a more powerful conventional military. The playing field gets leveled, but in a really dangerous way. Here's what really keeps me up at night: accountability. When an autonomous system makes a mistake and kills civilians, who's responsible? The programmer? The military general? The government? This legal and moral question is completely unresolved. We've already seen this play out. Human rights organizations have documented what they call algorithmic atrocities, situations where AI targeting systems have led to civilian casualties because of biased data or technical failures. In Gaza, for example, human rights groups have raised serious questions about whether AI targeting systems contributed to civilian harm. The problem is compounded by opacity. Most military AI systems are classified. We don't know exactly how they work, what data they're trained on, or what their error rates are. Compare this to the medical industry, where AI systems are heavily scrutinized, tested, and regulated. Military AI has basically none of that oversight. When you're building AI systems for businesses, like what we do at mDigital Dev, you have to think about responsible automation. But in military contexts, there's almost no governance. It's a free-for-all. Okay, so why should you care about this if you're not in the military? First, this technology doesn't stay in the military. Everything developed for warfare eventually flows into civilian use. The internet started as a military project. GPS was military. Drones started as weapons. So whatever AI systems are being perfected for warfare right now will eventually be used in surveillance, policing, and corporate environments. Second, geopolitical instability directly affects everyone. If nations are in an AI arms race and nobody's sure who's winning, that breeds paranoia and miscalculation. That can escalate into actual conflict, which affects economy, supply chains, and your daily life. Third, there's a fundamental question about what kind of world we want to build. Do we want a future where machines make life and death decisions? Do we want that decision-making process to be completely opaque? These aren't abstract philosophical questions anymore. They're happening right now, and the decisions we make today will determine what's possible tomorrow. So here's what I want from you. Comment below, what's your biggest concern about military AI? Is it the lack of human oversight? The accountability gap? The arms race dynamic? I want to hear your take because this isn't just about technology. It's about the future we're building. Second, if you want to stay ahead of these critical conversations about AI, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Next week, we're breaking down how AI is already being used to manipulate elections, and it's way worse than you think. And finally, if you're a business leader or entrepreneur watching this, you're probably thinking about AI differently now. At mDigital Dev, we help businesses implement AI safely and responsibly. We focus on automation that actually creates value without the ethical landmines. If you want to understand how AI can scale your business the right way, check out mdigitaldev.com. Next week, we're breaking down how AI is already manipulating elections in real time. Hit subscribe and notifications so you don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.